Artemus Toast here, and I apologize if you clicked on this video for the answer because I genuinely am asking, why doesn't Rolling Stone like progressive rock? Um, Throughout my years in the music industry, it's something I've always heard. But I honestly didn't pay much attention to it. I'm a studio musician. I didn't really affect me. You know, um, but I was watching or rewatching the induction of Rush into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it was kind of brought up, during the induction, and it kind of, well, basically, I guess I revisited that, I guess looked into it more closely. Um, Real quick side note disclaimer, I'm not bashing Rolling Stone magazine. I've collected Rolling Stone magazines over the years, a lot of classic ones. Mainly pertaining to the journalist Hunter S. Thompson, which in the near future I'll do more uploads of the various magazines. You know, um, and once again, I'm not bashing Rolling Stone. You know, Another thing, if you've watched any of my videos, any of my all kinds of awesome album reviews, I'm a big fan of prog rock. Yes, Tool, Rush, and other prog rock artists, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, etc. Um, you know, uh, you could also check out those all kinds of awesome album reviews. Excuse me, but you know, I happen to have this Rolling Stone 500 greatest albums of all time, and like I said, I was watching that Rush induction, and they're kind of throwing a lot of shade at Rolling Stone magazine. So I decided to kind of look into it. So I grabbed this 500 greatest albums of all time book that they made, and going through the index. Um, I was actually surprised not to find uh, Tool. There's not a single Tool album on here. But they have seven The Who albums. I mean, don't get me wrong, The Who's great, Pete Townsend, they're all great, but they didn't have seven great albums. I'm sorry. I mean, they could have done without mm, probably a quick one, Happy Jack, um, to 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 make room for one of the many great, like, Tool, Rush, Yes, etc. albums. Um, the fact that a lot of these artists, a lot of these artists are great. Obviously they have pretty much every Beatles album. Not to take anything away from the Beatles, but not every one of their albums was, something that redefined music. Um, were incredibly popular at the time. We're selling a lot of albums, but not every album was a step in changing their sound, or changing the pop music landscape in general. So I mean, you know in lieu of one of those albums, in lieu of one of the three Black Sabbath albums they have on here, I mean, really, four Birds albums. Once again, it looks like about nine Bob Dylan albums. Once again, I'm not taking anything away from these artists, but you know, once again, to me, that seems like a blatant, you know, uh, I guess, disgust of progressive rock, or just in general not being a fan. So there's a lot of you know legitimacy to that claim that Rolling Stone doesn't like progressive rock. I mean, to not have a single Rush album out of 500 albums, is, but having, you know, 9 or 7, you know, Stones albums or Springsteen albums. You know, I was happy to see that they did get one Kraftwerk album in here, which, definitely a fan of, and also the band I'm currently working with, Random Objects, were heavily influenced by Kraftwerk. Um, yeah, once again, it really, it just, it blows my mind that, uh, you know, I'm looking through all these albums here, and I'm really not seeing anything, at least to my knowledge, that I would consider a prog rock album. And while that's being said, they'll still make, you know, room for, several albums by, you know, influential artists, but, you know, I think there should have been only one Peter Gabriel album too. I mean, that's a different side note, um, but I guess what I could say is that is, you know, conclusive evidence that, Rolling Stone magazine, Jan Wenner and company do not like, progressive rock. Artemus Toast out.